This is the number 5 face cloth pattern in my series, and this is the first advanced pattern. It's called a twisted braid. It's kind of hard to see in the picture, but I do have one here. As you can see, there's a lot of yarn over, knit two togethers, and some SSKs. The SSK is what causes it to either curve one way or the other way. I think this is the direction of an SSK, and I think this is the knit two together, but I get better when I actually get started making one. I just wanted to show you what it looks like before we get started. It's not a hard pattern to do once you get the hang of it. It's just a lot of repeats. And begin, it's like always, we're going to cast on 53 stitches, knit 8 rows, increasing 4 evenly across the 8th row. And then we'll start the braid. And as you can see, the braid is quite lengthy. There's actually 16 rows to do a braid, and you only repeat it twice or possibly 3 times. Because when I looked at this one, I realized, let me see if I take this out, it's not exactly a square, it's more of a rectangle. It probably needs a partial repeat up here of maybe half of it, like maybe 8 rows. But we'll see when we get to it, because right here you can see this is a full diamond shape, where the others, where this is only a partial diamond shape. So I think if I had made this a full diamond by doing a repeat of another, maybe half of it, 6 rows or 8 rows, then it would be more of a rectangle. We'll know more as we get into it. So I'll be back as soon as I get 8 rows knitted. This video may be on the long side because the length of rows there is. Now what I did on roll 8, I had to do 4 increases, so I just increased on the 11th, 22nd, 33rd, and 44th stitch. That gave me the 57 that I need on roll 8. So now let's start with row 1. I will do the whole row 1, and then I'm not sure how I'm going to handle it. I'm not going to do all entirely 16 rows, I don't think, from start to finish, because that's going to really make this a very long video. But we'll see what happens as we go along. Let's just start with row 1. So it's the knit 6 is our border. So we're going to have a knit 6 at the beginning and a knit 6 at the end of each row. So we already know that, and all the rows are knit 6, purl to the last 6, and knit 6. That's all the way through. Like here's 10, 12, 14. So all of the odd rows are purl without any additional special stitching. So that's going to help a little bit. Okay, let's go ahead and get started. Knit 6. If I can get my fingers working tonight. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now it says to knit 5 yarn over SSK, knit 2 yarn over SSK. Now I have a video out there that shows 3 different ways to do an SSK. I will show you the one I like to use the best because it is the easiest, but if you want to see the other 2 methods, just go to the video that says SSK 3 ways by Stitch Niche. Okay, so I'm going to knit 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, yarn over. Now one of the SSKs is where you slip, slip, and knit. Well, I don't like to slip, slip, and knit because I have a tendency to stretch my stitches. So I found if I knit 2 together through the back loop of both of them, it does the same thing as an SSK. And I don't have a tendency to stretch my stitches. Now that's the way I like to do it. Like I said, if you want to see the other 2 methods, you can go to the other video. What I'll do is after I get this row done, I will go to the other video and look at them myself, because I haven't done the other 2 in so long I don't even remember them myself, because I found this is the quickest and easiest way to do an SSK. Then it's knit 4. Okay, now I got to the end of the bracket, which means to go back to the knit 5 and repeat this again, and we do it 3 times. And that should get you all the way to the last 6 stitches. So let's knit 5. Okay, then we got a yarn over. We just wrap the yarn around the needle. knit 2 together through the back loops, knit 2, yarn over, SSK, like I said, the one I like is knit 2 together through the back loops, and then knit 4. Okay, so I've got 2 repeats done. Now we go repeat the third time, so go back to the knit 5. Yarn over, SSK, knit 2, yarn over, SSK, knit 4, now there should be 6 left, 2, 4, 6, which there is. Okay, so that means I have the right amount of stitches, and I know row 1 is correct. There's no adjustments I need to do on this. Now after I get all 6 of these washcloths done and I see if there's any additional adjustments that have to be made, I will make them, then I'll republish the actual pattern with all the corrections, because there's a couple with a couple slight corrections, nothing major. Okay, now we're doing row 2, which is knit 6, purl to the last 6, knit 6. So, okay, so we're 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm hoping you can see the white with the white paper behind. That looks like it might work. I wasn't sure if using white was going to work or not. If I have to, I can always leave the paper off and you can just see on the brown wooden base. This one I only got part of the stitch. Let me redo it. Sometimes I'm a little klutzy. I just have to take my time. And if I drop a stitch, I have to figure out where I dropped it and get it back on the needle the way it fell off. That's something that's kind of hard to show unless it happens at that moment. Then I can show you what I do. But I just can't arbitrarily say, okay, if this happens, do this. It doesn't always work that way. And I always like to keep my stitches close to the front of my needle, so I'm always pulling them forward like this. That way I'm not stretching stitches and everything is close by. So it's just a smooth, constant flow of stitches moving from the left needle to the right needle. Now, if you're left-handed, an SSK, you would do it as a knit 2 together. And if you're left-handed and you have to do a knit 2 together, you do an SSK. I know those 2 stitches are reversed because you're obviously going the opposite direction. You're going left to right instead of right to left. So that's 2 stitches that are definitely switched. Now there's several others. If you go on the internet, I'm sure you can Google it and find all the different stitches that are adjusted for left-handed people. I ran across it many, many years ago and I printed up a copy, but that was so long ago I don't even know if I have a copy of that page anymore. I'll do some looking, and if I happen to find it, I'll let you know, and I'll go ahead and put it on my website as a free download. I think it was 2 pages long. I just don't remember off the top of my head. 2, 4, 6. Okay, now I'm down to my knit 6. All right, now we go to row 3. Row 3, knit 6. Now, the repeat here is a little lengthier, but it's still the same amount of stitches because it's a repeat 3 times. So it's knit 3, knit 2 together, yarn over, knit 1, yarn over, SSK. Now we got to remember knit 2 togethers are different from an SSK because we don't want to mix them up, because that's what makes them lean either to the left or to the right. Okay, let's go ahead and get this one going. So we knit 3, knit 2 together. So you knit 2 together through the front loop. Oh, I missed part of that stitch, so I just catch it and take it over the needle. Okay, yarn over, knit 1, yarn over, so yarn over, knit 1, yarn over, SSK, so now we're going to knit 2 together through the back loop. Yarn over, SSK again, yarn over, SSK, sometimes it's hard to catch. Just take your time. Knit 3 right there. Okay, 1 repeat is done. Now we go back to here and we do it again. So it's knit 3, knit 2 together, yarn over, knit 1, yarn over, SSK, which is knit 2 through the back loop, knit 2, SSK, and knit 3. Okay, so there's 2 repeats. Now 1 more repeat, then we should have 6 left. Okay, let's see how this works. So we knit 3, knit 2 together, so this is knit 2 together through the front loops, yarn over, knit 1, yarn over, SSK, so it's through the back loops. I always keep them on close to the tips of my needle. It gives me a little bit more yarn when I do this. Knit 2, yarn over, SSK, knit 3, okay, now there's an issue because I should only have 6 left, and unfortunately instead of having 2, 4, 6 left, I got 2, 4, 6, 8 left. So somewhere along the line there is an error in this pattern. So I'm going to go and see what the error is and I'll be back. Okay, this morning I went back, I undid the roll. Come to find out, I forgot to do the knit 6. I started right here at the knit 3 and did all the repeats, and that's how come I was off by 6, because right there, that one. So I went ahead and did row 3 because you seen me do it earlier, and I did do row 4, which is the purl. So we're going to start with row 5, and you can see here, let me get this out of the way. You can see where the little yarn overs are where they're supposed to be. There's one, looks like I missed one right there. I missed a yarn over. Checking a little closer, that is correct, because if you look here, I've got the 3, but here there's just the 2. So on here there's the 3 and just the 2. And on here it's the 3 and just the 2. So that is correct. It is not a mistake. All right. So let's go ahead and get back to where we're supposed to be. So we're on row 5. Okay, row 5 says, let's see, maybe put something there to help identify what row we're on. It might make it a little easier. Okay, knit 6. Let's not forget it this time. We can move this up a little bit closer to the top because we've already done all of the other things, so we don't really need to have all that showing. We'll just go straight to this point. Okay, so knit 6, Okay, now we're going to start the repeat, and the repeat starts with knit 2, and it'll end with knit 2, and we're going to repeat this 3 times. So knit 2, knit 2 together, which means you knit 2 together through the front loops, yarn over, knit 3, yarn over SSK. I said with mine I like to knit 2 together through the back loops, which is the same as an SSK, it just doesn't have as many maneuvers. Knit 2, yarn over, SSK again, sometimes it's a little bit of a challenge. The needles are not as pointy as they used to be. They're slightly worn because I use them quite a bit, and wood needles do wear out faster than metal ones, but at least they're more comfortable to use. Now, it says repeat it 3 times, so we go back here to the knit 2. Now, if you're curious how this knit 2 and knit 2 together, and that knit 3 and this knit 3, that's this section. I can show you on here. That's this section here, where you start with a knit 2, which is the beginning, which would be right here, and you do all your other stitches, and then it ends with a knit 2. So when you repeat again, you start with a knit 2 here and continue on. That's where that knit 2 comes in. Let's see, where am I at? There's a yarn over, SSK, knit 2. Okay, I'm back here. So let's knit 2. Knit 2 together, yarn over, knit 3, yarn over, SSK, knit 2, yarn over, and an SSK. And finish with a knit 2. All right, now we're going to repeat again. Let's hope we get it worked out and we're where we're supposed to be. Let's see, knit 2, knit 2 together, yarn over, knit 3, we're right here, yarn over, SSK, knit 2, yarn over, SSK, knit 2, and we should end up with a knit 6. We got it right this time, knit 6. Okay, so that row 5 is now complete. Now if you want, you can always put a check mark by each of the rows you've got done. That way, if you put your work down and you come back and you're not sure, you know where you left off at. Okay, now with row 6, this is a knit 6, purl to the last 6 and then knit 6. I'm just going to pause at this point because we don't really have to show this part because this is something we keep doing over and over again. Because in most cases, the back of a project is mostly purl across. Very rarely does the back have other things other than the purls across, but that does happen in a few patterns. Okay, let me get this done and I'll meet you back on row 7. Okay, we're ready to start row 7. I'm also going to do something a little bit different. I've got these markers and I'll show you what my plan is with the markers. Some people use these when they're doing repetitive patterns because it helps keep your place and you don't make that silly mistake like I made on row 3. Others do it because it just helps keep their places and they know how much further they have to go, and others don't do it at all. It's just personal preference. Some like them, some don't. So I'm going to do them on the next 2 or 3 rows to show how the markers will work. Say we start with row 7 and we start with a knit 6. Now we only place markers at the beginning and the end of a repeat. So there's 4, 5, 6. Okay, so I place one marker here, so I know that is the knit 6 that I did, so I don't accidentally boo-boo again. I know I have to knit those before I start my pattern. Now it says to knit 1, knit 2 together, yarn over, knit 2, knit 2 together, yarn over, knit 1, yarn over, SSK, knit 2, yarn over, SSK, knit 1. Now this is a real long one, so it'd be kind of nice having these markers so you know that you've done every single thing on that particular one. Okay, now we'll go start again with the knit 1 on this side of the marker, knit 2 together, yarn over, knit 2, knit 2 together, yarn over, knit 1, yarn over, SSK, knit 2, yarn over, SSK, knit 1. Okay, so that repeat is finished, so we put a marker. Now let's count, just out of curiosity. There is 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 15 stitches between the markers. Let's see if I got 15 on this side. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 15. Okay, so we know there's 15 stitches to a repeat. We'll do the last one now. So it's a knit 1, knit 2 together, yarn over, knit 2, knit 2 together, yarn over, knit 1, yarn over, SSK, knit 2, yarn over, SSK, knit 1, and we place another marker. So we know that's the end of the last repeat. Let's see if there's 15. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 15. Yep, so we're correct there, and now we have to knit 6. Now with this, as you get back to the markers, we're going to slip them from one needle to the other. So let's turn our work over. Now we know the first is knit at 6, and with the marker we know the last 6 are knitted. So that also helps us so we don't have to always look back and see if we have 6 to do or not. The marker will give us that clue. Let's get all these over. Now we're going to do row 8, which is knit 6. The markers will not get in the way. They're just a nice way to keep track of where you're at. Okay, now I know I'm done with my knit 6 because there's my next marker. So we'll bring the yarn to the front, slip the marker, and start purling. So as you see, the marker just kind of moves across. You don't use it for anything other than just sliding it from one side to the other to keep track of where you're at in your pattern. If you're doing a top that has multiple repeats in the pattern, like 6, 8, or 10, or a shawl, where you have to keep constantly increasing the amount of repeats you do, the markers come in handy because it helps you know where your last repeat ended or started, so you know if you're on track, and not have a whole roll of 250 stitches knitted and find out you're off by 1. Because that's happened to me because I thought I was too smart to need markers. Well, I learned the hard way. It's not a crutch saying that you're a bad knitter. It's a helpful crutch to keep you on target and you not have to repeat, tear apart, repeat, and tear apart the same roll over and over and over again like I had to do with row 3. Luckily, I only had to tear it apart once before I realized what my mistake was. Okay, let's get all the way to the end. No need to stop at this point. We'll just go all the way across. And when I get to the next marker, which is right here, I will knit the stitch before the marker, slide the marker, and then knit the next stitch, and that'll hold the marker in place. Unfortunately, markers don't come in a large variety of colors. There's white, green, purple, maybe red. You just find a marker that's a reasonable contrast to what you're working on. Of course, you're not normally working in the position I am, and it's a lot easier to see your markers. Now I'm just about to the end, but I don't have to stop and count to see if I have 6 stitches left. I just go until I hit the marker, and then I know there's 6 stitches left because the marker was put on after I knitted 6. There it is, there's the marker. So if I slip the marker, I don't have to count. I know there's 6 left, but I'll count anyway. 2, 4, 6, just to show you that there is 6. Move the yarn to the back and knit these 6. Okay, before we go to the next one, I wanted to show you something. Here is a pattern that I designed. It's called the Twisted Braided Vest. If you look, it's the exact same pattern we're doing now, but this pattern goes all the way around, so there's probably 10 to 12 repeats. And it's so easy to get off by one because you forget a yarn over. So if you put a marker between each repeat, you'll be in the same position I am here. I know from here to here is 1 repeat. From there to there is 1 repeat. And if I get over here and I still have 1 stitch left, then I know I've made a mistake somewhere within these 15 stitches, and it's easier to pull out just 15 than to pull them all the way out or go all the way this way and then all the way back and then start again and find out you're off by 1. This is just a nice way to keep track of that. Just an FYI. Okay, we did number 8. Now we're going to go to 9. Get the marker out of the way because we don't need that spare marker. I brought in too many. Okay, let's start at the beginning of row 9. We got to do 6, which is to the marker. Now I didn't put on here place marker because it is an optional choice. Okay, and I'm going to slide the marker. Now this full pattern here should go from this marker to this marker. So let's see if it does. Knit 2 together, yarn over, knit 2, knit 2 together, yarn over, knit 3, yarn over, SSK, now I got a little thread there, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the thread and pass it over because that was part of that stitch. So now I corrected that. Okay, so that was a SSK. Make sure I got this correct because now that I did that, I'm not sure where I'm at. So we start here. This one is the knit 2 together. There's your yarn over because it's on an angle. Knit 2, 1, 2. Then we have a knit 2 together, yarn over there, the stitch that's on the angle. Knit 3, yarn over, SSK. So I am right there. So we're going to knit 2, yarn over, and an SSK. Okay, I'm finished with the pattern. I should be next to the next marker. Let me get this SSK. Sure enough, there's the marker. So I'm going to slide the marker and go back to the beginning. Knit 2 together, yarn over, knit 2, knit 2 together, yarn over, knit 3, yarn over, SSK, knit 2, yarn over, SSK, and there's my marker. So I know I did the right amount of stitches. Okay, well, let's go back again. Knit 2 together, yarn over, knit 2, 1, 2, knit 2 together, yarn over, knit 3, yarn over, SSK, knit 2, yarn over, and finish with an SSK. See, I did it again. I split the stitch, so I'm going to take and move that right over and off the needle, so now I know it's where it belongs. And then now I knit 6, so I move my last marker. Sure enough, there's 6. And before I go to the next row, just to make sure, I can count each of the stitches between the markers. And if I'm off by 1, then I can go back and find it before I purl across. So let's see. Here to here should be 15 stitches. Let's move this up out of the way. Okay, let's see. I got 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 15. So that is correct. I'll check here. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 15. So that one is correct. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 15. So that one's correct. So now I know this row is correct. Now go back to here. Row 10 is purl across. So I'll go ahead and get that started and I'll be back with you when I get ready to do row 11. Okay, I've finished purling row 10 across, and as you can see, the pattern is really starting to take shape. These are all the yarn overs. And then, of course, we got our knit 2 togethers and we got our SSKs. And as you can see, the SSK is very neatly looking here because of doing it through the back loop. It allows the front stitch to stand up on top on both the yarn over, knit 2 togethers, and the SSKs. That's why I like to do it that way, because it makes it look very uniform. Both directions have your, or one of the yarns on, same yarns on top. Okay, now let's go to row 11. Okay, let's see. And 11 says, start with 6, which is no problem. And then we knit 2, yarn over, SSK. So knit 2, yarn over, SSK, knit 2, yarn over, SSK, knit 1, knit 2 together, yarn over, knit 2, and then knit 2 together. And sure enough, I have 2 left, so I know I've got this one correct. Slip my marker. Let's start again. Knit 2, yarn over, SSK, knit 2, yarn over, SSK, knit 1, knit 2 together, yarn over, knit 2, knit 2 together. I'm on target again because I'm right next to my marker. So far so good. Slip my marker. Now knit 2, yarn over, SSK, knit 2, yarn over, SSK, knit 1, knit 2 together, yarn over, knit 2, and then knit 2 together, slip my marker and knit the last 6. So you see the markers do come in handy. Now if you don't want to put a marker between each pattern, you don't have to. If you want to put a marker at the beginning and end of the knit 6, you can do just there, put one there and put one there. That way you always know you have 6 to do on either end, and you don't accidentally do like I did here. Because you can see here, see how we got a smooth part here? I forgot when I turned my work to knit it. Instead, I purled it because I was on the back side, so I seen all the bumps, so I naturally purled it. So when I got to the front, that's why this is here. Now, if I had put marker there, every time I got to this roll, I would have realized it has to be a knit, and I wouldn't have had that little boo-boo. But I didn't realize I had the boo-boo till the whole thing was done. But it's just a display piece, so I wasn't too concerned. Okay, that's roll 11, so let's check off roll 11. And row 12 is our standard purl stitch, so let's go ahead and get it done, and I'll be back to you on roll 13. I finished roll 12, now I'm ready to do 13. The good news is we're almost to the end because there's only 16 rolls to this one, and then you repeat 1 through 16 twice. So I'm going to go back to 13. Now if you're doing this and you followed me all the way through 16, I will pause the recording and I'll go ahead and do the other 2 repeats, and then I'll come back and show you what it looks like with the other 2 repeats. If you need to see it a second time, just go back to the first part of the video where it's working on rolls 1 and 2 near the top, and just repeat it from there, because it'll be the same even though I'm doing it 2 more times, so it's going to make this even longer and longer. Okay, let's go ahead and start with 13. I'm also going to link the SSK YouTube video of mine to this particular one. It'll be in the description at the beginning. Okay, so we start with knit 3. Yarn over, SSK. Knit 2. Yarn over, SSK2P. Now we have to find out what SSK2P is. So let's go to the description here. Because on the last page I put a description. See, did it end with a yarn over? Yes, it did. Okay. SS2P means slip 1 stitch as if to purl. Knit 2 together, pass a slip stitch over the knit 2 together. So that's actually a 2-stitch decrease. So we would start with slip your stitch, knit 2 together, and then you want to pass this stitch, the slip stitch, over the knit 2 together. So you still have your yarn over, which gives you your eyelet, and you got your 1 stitch. Okay, when we get to it again, we'll show it once again, because I'm sure we're going to do it at least 2 more times. All right, so then it's yarn over, knit 2, knit 2 together. Now I've made a mistake somewhere because I say I'm right here, but yet I'm at the marker. So somewhere along the line I've made a mistake. So let's see, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14. So the mistake is somewhere not too far away. Let's go back here and count. Knit 3, yarn over, SSK, knit 2, yarn over. There's that one. That's this thing here. Knit, there's your yarn over right there. Knit 2 is right there. Knit 2 together. Now I see there's definitely something wrong. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14. So I've missed a stitch somewhere. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14. So I'm definitely off by 1 stitch. And it had to be in the previous row. So let me go ahead and, they call this tinking, where you take the stitches out off of the needle instead of pulling the needle out and then unraveling it. So what you do is you go to the stitch below, insert your needle, and when you pull it over, then that brings the stitch off the right needle and the previous stitch is back on your left needle. So we're going to do this one. We're going to forget the yarn over now. This will be the tricky one. I need to bring this up and over first. And there's 2 stitches here, so I got to make sure I catch both of them. There's a slip stitch. There's the yarn over. Maybe I missed a yarn over. There's the 2 stitches. And there is a SSK, so I have to go through kind of backwards. Bring these over a bit. Okay, now we're going to grab this stitch. 1, 2, 3. Okay, now let's count our stitches and see what we have. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14. See, I definitely missed something on that last one. Let's see what the rest of them say. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14. Oh, there is only 14. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14. So 14 is correct. Let's count here. We got 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So there should have been 15. Somewhere along the line, I round up with 14, which means I need to go back and take all these stitches off. And what I do is I tink them off by just taking them off the stitches, 1 stitch below. Now I'm not going to have you sit here and watch me take all these stitches off, which is on the purl side. I'll go ahead and get this all the way back to row 11 and see what I did wrong, and we'll touch base as soon as I get all that taken care of. Okay, I have unraveled it all the way back to row 11, and I counted, and there's definitely 15. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 15 on each of them. So I know that's correct. So let's see what I did wrong with row 11. Let me move this back up. There's my knit 6. It's possible I missed a knit 2 together, or I accidentally did a knit 2 together instead of knit 2. It could be something that simple. I got to start with knit 2. 1, 2. Let's see if we have 15, because there's 2, 3. This represents 1 stitch because we're putting 2 together and the yarn over brings back the 1 stitch that we shortened from here. So 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So I should have 15 when I complete this. Knit 2, yarn over, SSK, knit 2, yarn over, SSK, oops, I missed that one. Knit 1, knit 2 together, yarn over, knit 2, and knit 2 together. Now let's count and see if we've got 15. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14. I'm coming up with 14 each time I do it, and I should have 15. There's my knit 2, yarn over, SSK, knit 2, yarn over, SSK, knit 1, knit 2 together, yarn over, knit 2. Oh, there's what I'm missing, that final yarn over. Let me do that. And then we got 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 15. That's what I was missing, that last yarn over. And I missed it all the way across. Now that I found it, I can redo row 13. So we start with a knit 2, yarn over, SSK, knit 2, yarn over, SSK, knit 1, knit 2 together, yarn over, knit 2, knit 2 together, and the final SSK. Okay, I'll go ahead and finish the last repeat, and I'll purl across, and I'll catch you on 13 where I should be correct and ready to continue. Okay, I've taken out row 11, And row 12, I redid row 11, which you've seen me do, and I went ahead and did the purl back. So now we're going to do row 13 again with that special SK2P stitch. And I kept this here so we can refer back to this right here when we get ready to do that part. Okay, so let's get back here. All right, I've already knitted the 6, slip in the marker. Now I'm going to knit 3. I guess I should have counted and made sure I was correct with my pattern on that last row, but I didn't, and that's what happened. So those markers, as you see, can come in handy even for an experienced knitter. Sometimes a little helper goes a long way. Knit 2, yarn over. Now we're going to do that special stitch, which is slip 1 stitch, knit 2 together, pass slip stitch over the knit 2 together. Okay, so we're going to slip a stitch, we're going to knit 2 together. See, the yarn is still in front from the yarn over. And now we're going to pass that slip stitch over the knit 2 together. When we get to it, we'll do it again. Yarn over, knit 2, knit 2 together, yarn over, and there's the knit 1. Now I got all 15. It's strange how one little boo-boo can mess up a whole row, especially when you're doing a lace pattern. That's why you've got to be extra careful, use markers when needed, double check your count. I only had to do it across 57 stitches. Imagine if I had to do it across over 200 stitches. That's when I always use my markers. Okay. Knit 3, yarn over, SSK, knit 2, yarn over. Now we're ready to do that special stitch again. Slip 1, knit 2 together, and pass the slip stitch over the 2. Then we do another yarn over, knit 2, knit 2 together, yarn over, and knit 1. Okay, now we got one more set to do. Knit 3, yarn over, SSK, knit 2, yarn over. Now we're going to do the SK2P again. Slip 1, knit 2 together, pass the slip stitch over the knit 2 together. Yarn over, knit 2. Now I'm off by 1 this way. Wonder how I did that. Well, let's go back. Since I had the marker there to show me where I was at, let me put this back over. I knit 2 together here. Slip 1, yarn over. Okay, we'll just stop there because it's knit 3. So I got 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. There is 15. So I missed a stitch somewhere. So knit 3, yarn over, SSK, knit 2, yarn over. Now we're going to slip 1, knit 2 together, pass the slip stitch over, yarn over, knit 2. We got it this time. And then we knit 2 together, yarn over, and knit 1. Okay, finally, row 13 is now correct. So now we're finished the knit, and then I'll do row 14 and I'll meet you back here on row 15. We're now getting to the finish line of the first repeat. Okay, row 15. I've done my knit 6, slip in my marker, knit 4, yarn over, SSK, knit 2, yarn over, SSK. Just be careful you don't drop your yarn overs, because that can make it a challenge. So there's my knit 1. Oops, I'm talking, I forgot where I was at. Let's go back. Knit 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, yarn over, SSK, knit 2, yarn over, SSK, knit 1. Okay, so I'm at knit 2 together. I'm off. Oh, let me go back, see what I did wrong. First I'll count my stitches. Make sure I have 15. It's so easy when you're doing a pattern like this to drop a stitch or forget a stitch. So let's go back and count. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14. Oh, there's something right here. This does not belong. This is a boo-boo right here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put that boo-boo in. Now I think the best thing to do is tink it out. Let me go ahead and tink it out because it's right here at the very beginning. I can go ahead and do this. Evidently on my last roll I missed a stitch, or maybe I was doing a knit 2 together and dropped one of them. So let me go tink this back. I don't have to go too far back, so I'll just go ahead and do it. If I can get my needles back where they belong. Okay. Let's see, I gotta get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Slip that. 1, 2, 3, 4. There's where something went awry there. Oh, I did a double yarn over. That's what happened. Yarn over twice. I know there has to be a yarn over there somewhere, so let me look and see where the yarn over was. We started here, we got knit 3. We're back up here on 13. Yarn over, there's my SSK, and I had a knit 2. For some reason this last one did not knit. Knit 2. I think there's a mistake right there. That should be a yarn over, not a, get that out of the way. There, I think that's where my mistake is, right there. So I'm gonna knit the purl. Sometimes the yarn over, when you go to purl it, you can really make a mistake, not on purpose, but accidentally. So let me go ahead and go back. And if that wasn't the issue, I'm just going to fudge that one by knitting 2 together instead of knitting 1. and continue on. But hopefully that fixed my mistake. Okay, let me get my yarn from being tangled. So, okay, I should have 15 here now. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 15. Yep, that's what it was. Okay, I was lucky I was able to fix it. Let's start again. Row 15. Knit 6. I hope my needles weren't too far out of the camera lens area so you was able to see some of what I was able to fix. Okay, so we gotta slip our marker, knit 4. Yarn over, SSK. Knit 2. Yarn over, SSK. Knit 1. Knit 2 together. Yarn over, and I have 2 left, so that was my mistake. And I was able to fix it that time. Okay, now let's go back and repeat it again. Knit 4. Yarn over, SSK. Knit 2. Yarn over, SSK. Knit 1. Knit 2 together. Yarn over, and knit 2. Slip my marker. One more repeat and we're just about done with row 15. What do we got going here? Another boo-boo? 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. Yep, there's a yarn over that did not belong right there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to include it, make it part of that stitch, which it probably was. Okay, so we knit 4. Yarn over, SSK. Knit 2. Yarn over, SSK. Knit 1. Knit 2 together, yarn over, knit 2, and then knit the last 6. Okay, I'll go ahead and do row 16 and then I'll lay it out so you can see what a full one completed pattern looks like. Okay, now here is a first pattern completed and done. And according to the directions, I need to repeat it 2 more times. However, I think if I repeat it 2 more times, I'm going to be short like this one. Because see here, this is the triangle. This triangle is this triangle. Okay, so the repeat goes just above this triangle. So that would be right here. So if I repeated it, it would be like somewhere halfway in here, I think. So there's 1, 2, there's 3. I definitely need to do more, probably 4, maybe 5, because this definitely is not a square. This is about 11 wide by about 8 long. So I definitely going to have to do more than just 2 or 3 repeats. I'll see how it works out when I get to working on it. I'm going to mark here with a marker of some kind so you know where I finished the 16 rows, so we can see how the next set of 16 rows begins. I have a feeling this right here is this part right here. So it's like an hourglass shape. That's the first 16 rows. So that's where you get to this point. There's your hourglass shape right there. So there's 1 repeat, 2 repeats, 3 repeats. So obviously it definitely needs more than the 3 repeats. So we'll see how far we have to go. and I'll get back with you after I've done at least 2 more repeats. I have 1 set of repeats done. Here is where the halfway part was. This is the first 1 through 16 rows, and here's the second 1 through 16 rows. So 2 gives you about 4 inches. The whole thing across is roughly 10. So from here to here is 5 roughly. So we'd actually have to have 2 more repeats, because if I did 2 more repeats, that would take us to 4, and that would be 9. And then of course we need another inch of border, which takes us to 10. So 2 more sets of repeats, and then we can finish our border, and then pattern number 5 will be finished. It looks like a total of 4 repeats is going to be it. If I measure here, it's roughly 10. And 4 repeats plus the border here is 9. So 1 more inch border and it'll be done. So the next part says to knit 8 rows, decreasing 4 stitches evenly across the second row. So it takes it down to 53, then bind off, weave in the tails. And then of course we do our I forgot what it's called now, when we want to set it to make it the right size. So I'll go ahead and get the last 4 done, and we'll see what the final looks like. It's now complete. It is, finally it's a square. It is 10 this way, and it is roughly 10 that way, and it took 4 repeats of 16 rows. And I want to thank everybody for being patient and waiting for me to figure out what my blunder was and all the little corrections I had to make as I went through this particular project. The next one we're going to do is this one right here, and I call this one the trellis lace, and it's only a 4-row repeat. So it may go a little quicker, it may not, we won't know until I get actually into it. Now this still needs to be blocked, so what you would do is spray it with your water like we did before, and then place a notebook on it to weigh it down so we can block it, the word I forgot a minute ago. And after it's been blocked, it'll lay nice and flat for you. And hope you have a wonderful day. If you enjoy this, please hit subscribe, and you can also hit notifications, so next time I do another one, you'll get the next one in sequence. And I have a couple other videos I'm thinking of doing. One that shows how to tink versus ripping, which is, I think, a great one. After all, you've seen me tinking on this one a couple of times. And I've got a couple of other ideas too. So thank you for watching. And you'll be able to find these patterns after I get it adjusted on stitchniche.com, and also I'm going to put it on ravelry.com, so you'll be able to get it out of both places. I do have one more to do, and after I've done the last one, I would do all the little corrections and relaunch it on both of the 2 websites.